first win. What did that mean to you, and how did you like the way the offense played against Southern Utah?
The win was great. It was, it was fun. We as a staff and as a program, we put in so much work since we got here in December, and to see it pay off and get that first win for Coach Smith and really the players too. I mean, it'd been a long time since they'd experienced it. That was very rewarding. As an offense, there were some good things. I was pleased with the way we ran the ball for most of the game. I thought the first half we played with some rhythm, had some tempo going. It wasn't as sharp in the pass game as I would have liked to have been. I didn't think we hit as many things on time as we needed to. And then the second half was a little bit disappointing. I thought that we kind of took a step back a little bit in the second half, and was just disappointed from our production in there. So, but there's some things to build on, and I think our guys were pretty fired up the way that we started the game.
You've talked about the benefits of both quarterbacks, but what did you see out of them on Saturday?
Connor, when he's in there, we're moving the ball, and I think he's got a really good composure in the way that he just goes about and handles himself out there. And shoot, I think we scored on 7 of the 8 possessions or something like that in the first half with him in there. So I really like the way he's been operating the offense and his decision making. And then Jake, I think passing game wise, he was pretty sharp, stepping up in the pocket and doing some things, making some plays in the pass game. So both of them bring a lot of positive things for us.
Were you impressed with a true freshman breaking open and switching the ball in his hands and making a nice little move back for the score?
Yeah, I was glad to see the score, but we got to clean up the ball security there, and he did fumble later in the game. So that's something as a young guy. I mean, he made some incredible runs. The easy part's taking care of the football, and so that's something that Coach Petrie and is be stressing continually.
With a guy like Connor, he was a walk-on, and he seems to always have this confidence about himself, at least dating back to spring ball. Does he play with a chip on his shoulder? Is he that guy in practice, or am I just reading into that completely?
I think so, and he just seems really calm and composed, and it's just on game day, it's just, not everybody's, usually people, there's a little sense of anxiety or a little sense of anxiousness sometimes on game day, and he just doesn't seem like anything gets to him. So I really have been impressed with the way that he's been able to handle himself at Ohio State and then here on Saturday.
Does Jamar remind you of any running backs you've coached?
Shoot.
Everybody wants you to say Philip Lindsay.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Phil had a good game for the Broncos. Man.
Sure did.
Fired up for him. He's just quite a bit bigger than Phil. There was a kid that I had at Northern Arizona, Zach Bowman, that I want to say was the all-time leading rusher in NAU history, or he was a really good running back for us. He's very similar. Jamar he's faster, but kind of a bigger guy that has really good vision. And Jamar, just for a big guy to have that ability to create some explosive runs is pretty impressive, and that's what we're really excited to have him.
To talk a little bit about Reno and the road history of this team the past couple of years, all about that. What about this game this week, and what about the Reno defense?
Just anytime you go on the road and whoever you're playing, it's always a challenge. You're going into a new environment, and those guys will be excited to play a Pac-12 team at home, and so we got to be ready to roll. And I think it's going to be a tough place to play, and we got to be ready to roll and have a great week of practice. What was the second part?
Just the road history of what's happened here.
Yeah, I mean, we went through the same thing at Colorado, and hadn't won a road game in a long time, and I think it could be a really big step for the program to go get a win on Saturday. So I like the way our guys are preparing, and let's go see what happens.
Jamar's high school coach said that the knock on him in high school was people didn't think he was that fast, and he kind of proved people wrong down there. Do you think defenses maybe look at him and it takes a while for them to even figure out how fast he is? Or
hopefully.
I mean, when you saw him at first, did you think he was that fast?
No, not necessarily, because even when you watch him on film, it just doesn't look. But then he pulls away from you, and then I think we looked at some of his track times, and he was running some pretty impressive 100 meters at that weight, which was, it really just kind of like, wow, didn't know that was able to do that, But yeah, I've been fired up about him, man. He can go.
What's a week like this? How difficult is it for you when you are judging 2 quarterbacks now? It's on a weekly basis. Obviously got to shuffle around personnel at running back. As an OC, what's it do to you? Are you sleeping less this week? Or?
It's not ideal. You like to have your guys set in stone. I think the positive thing of it with the QBs is that we found 2 guys I feel that we we all feel pretty comfortable with, that can go in and operate what we do. But ideally, you'd like to have your guys set. You know, you'd like to have AP in there and be ready to roll. But you know, the next guys got to be ready to step up yeah, that's just football, you know, throughout the season, and that's how it goes.
Thank you.